Welcome to the Win Streaks preview and predictions of all 32 NFL teams for the upcoming 2017 season. For the next few weeks, I will be covering all 32 teams, so please subscribe on YouTube or the podcast platform you're listening on so you don't miss an episode. My name is Corey Foister. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Corey Foister. Follow on social media, Twitter at WinStreakNews, Facebook.com/TheWinStreak, TheWinStreak.com. Leave a review and subscribe on the podcast platform you're listening on. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, all the famous popular podcast platforms out there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Soaring Jets Productions. If you're listening on YouTube right now, drop me a comment below and let me know what you think the Denver Broncos, what their record's going to be this year, any bold predictions you have for the Broncos. Contact us at soaringjetsproductions@gmail.com or thewinstreak.com/contact. Join our fantasy football league. You can find out more information about that on our Facebook and official website, thewinstreak.com. Top 10 list. We do top 10 lists from time to time. We just put out Super Bowl matchup we want to see. We also do a weekly wrap-up show, me and my co-host Brandon Myers, every week, so please check that out as well if this is the first time you've listened to anything of the Win Streak. But today we are doing the 2017 Denver Broncos preview and predictions. This will be Denver's 48th season as an NFL franchise. It will be the first season for head coach Vance Joseph. Gary Kubiak, the team's head coach of the last two seasons and won on the Super Bowl 50, retired due to health concerns. John Elway is the GM. The Denver Broncos just recently re-signed him to a contract extension, so he will remain GM for the foreseeable future of the Denver Broncos. He helped put together a team that went to two Super Bowls, lost to the Seattle Seahawks for Super Bowl 48 in New York, but won Super Bowl 50. The Denver Broncos went 9-7 in 2016, finishing third in the AFC West. Broncos had 6 Pro Bowlers in 2016. Broncos still trying to figure out their quarterback situation ever since Peyton Manning retired after winning Super Bowl 50. Broncos started out a surprising 4-0, but sputtered down the stretch, missing the playoffs for the first time since 2010, which is really impressive, along with franchise record streak of 5 consecutive playoff appearances and AFC division streak snap. So not only did they make the playoffs every year since 2010, but they also had 5 consecutive playoff appearances and 3 AFC division title streak snap. That was impressive what the Denver Broncos are doing. Or did. Broncos became the 12th consecutive team to fail to repeat as Super Bowl champion. First reigning champion to miss the playoffs since the 2013 Baltimore Ravens. Owner is Pat Bowlen. They won 3 Super Bowls, 1997, 1998, and 2015. John Elway won the 2 Super Bowls in 97 and 98 towards the end of his career. And then, of course, Peyton Manning won it 2 years ago for Denver over the Carolina Panthers. The Broncos have 8 conference championships, have lost more Super Bowls than any other franchise, but the New England Patriots are right behind them. 15 AFC West Division Championship, 22 playoff appearances overall. Forbes ranks the Denver Broncos as the 11th most valuable NFL franchise. My franchise what if for the Denver Broncos: what if Broncos been to 8 Super Bowls, but they've only won 3? 10 AFC Championship appearances. They easily could have been the best team in the NFL had they won more Super Bowl titles than the Steelers. The Broncos, they've been to 8 Super Bowls, but only won 3 of them. 10 AFC Championships. It's just amazing to think where this franchise could be, because the Steelers have the most Super Bowl titles with 6. Denver Broncos could easily top this. So you're talking about, we always forget, kind of, because the Denver Broncos only have 3 titles, and you kind of forget how many times the Denver Broncos have been there in the AFC Championship and in the Super Bowl, but it just doesn't seem to work out. They don't have the luck that, say, the Buffalo Bills or the Minnesota Vikings have in the Super Bowl. But they haven't been completely unlucky, but they haven't been really lucky as well. I mean, to go to 8 and only win 3, but the Denver Broncos could be the most storied franchise like the Yankees of the NFL, but they just couldn't get it done. 2017 outlook for the Denver Broncos. Broncos have had a rough patch of luck since winning Super Bowl 50, and it is out of their control why they've been through a rough patch. They lost their quarterback to retirement as Manning was running out of gas, and lost head coach Gary Kubiak to health problems. So both of it between age and health problems that were just it's out of the Denver Broncos' control, because they easily, with Kubiak and Peyton Manning, could have went to another Super Bowl, probably win another title. Vance Joseph should be safe as head coach unless the season starts off terribly. Joe Woods taking over the defense from Wade Phillips. Hopefully, Wade Phillips was a great defensive coordinator. That's going to hurt the Denver Broncos a little bit, because I like what Wade Phillips was doing with that defense. Mike McCoy is returning as offensive coordinators. Broncos offense finished 27th in total offense and fourth most 3-and-outs. Will look better with more shotgun power scheme play. Yeah, you definitely don't want to be in the top 5 when it comes to 3-and-outs, and that was part of the reason. And of course, their quarterback situation. Paxton Lynch is competing with Trevor Siemian for the starting job at QB. Probably one of the biggest things to watch in the preseason in the whole league, because that is a open quarterback competition. Siemian, of course, played last year, but Lynch was the first round pick a couple drafts ago for the Denver Broncos. And who knows? I go with Siemian in that, but I think Siemian will probably win, but I don't count out Lynch. Biggest positive change for me, an improved running game. Broncos signed Jamal Charles. C.J. Anderson is returning from a torn muscle. Drafted D'Angelo Henderson. Improved offensive line will greatly help as well. The defense is still a beast, but they need to work on run defense. Their run defense was ranked 28th last season, which is awful. Ron Leary, Watson, and Garrett Bowles should greatly improve their offensive line, because their offensive line last year was not good, along with their quarterback situation. Biggest negative change, losing Wade Phillips to the LA Rams definitely hurt. Under Wade, the Broncos ranked 4th in total defense and 4th in points allowed. Still needs to improve. They can stop the run. Quarterback and run defense will make or break this team, especially when it comes to quarterback. Siemian, Lynch, no matter who wins that, they're going to have to take the step up, because the Denver Broncos, their window of winning is now with that defense. That defense is only going to age as we move on in the NFL. Their preseason schedule is as followed: at Chicago, at San Francisco, Packers, and then Cardinals, both at home. Not too bad of a preseason schedule. Regular season game by game prediction. Primetime games this season. You have the Chargers week 1 on ESPN Monday Night Football. Giants on NBC Sunday Night Football. At Kansas City for the Chiefs on ESPN Monday Night Football. Patriots on NBC Sunday Night Football. And at Indianapolis to play the Colts on Thursday Night Football on NFL Network. So you got 3 primetime games at home: Chargers, Giants, and Patriots, and 2 on the road: Chiefs and Colts. So if you are a Broncos fan, you got to love it, because you didn't make the playoff, but you're going to get a lot of attention. That is 5 no, I can't think straight today. It's 5 primetime games. Hopefully there'll be 4 playoff games for the Denver Broncos. Worst case, best case, my game-by-game prediction start in September. You open up on Monday Night Football home against the San Diego Chargers. I say best case, worst case, you beat the Los Angeles Chargers. September 17th against the Dallas Cowboys. Worst case, you lose to the Dallas Cowboys. Best case, I believe you can actually beat the Dallas Cowboys. Who knows about Ezekiel Elliott if he's going to be suspended a few games, so that could really impact the run game. If the Broncos' run defense is not good, well, not having Elliott out there really levels that playing field. I think the Cowboys can fall victim, probably will fall victim to a sophomore slump. And then you finish September at Buffalo. I say best case, worst case, you beat the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are AFC teams that Denver has to beat in order to make the playoff and possibly win that division. No, I think it's impossible with the Oakland Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs. I just think the Kansas City Chiefs and especially the Oakland Raiders are better because, well, the quarterback situation is a lot better. And the Raiders went out and got Marshawn Lynch, who I really like. I don't think he's going to be a game changer, but the Raiders were already good last season, and he just makes them better. So going into October, at worst you are 2-1. At best you are 3-0. October 1st, Raiders at home. Worst case, you lose to the Raiders. I think the Raiders are a better team, but I don't count out the Denver Broncos beating the Raiders at Denver. So best case, you beat the Oakland Raiders. Then you have a bye, October 15th, Giants at home. Worst case, you lose to the Giants. I believe the Giants are a playoff team, but best case, you beat the New York Giants in Denver. October 22nd at LA to play the Chargers. Best case, worst case, I believe you beat the LA Chargers at StubHub Arena. October 30th at Kansas City Chiefs. I say best case, worst case, you lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. It's really hard to play in Kansas City. So worst case scenario, you are 3-4. Best case scenario, you are 6-1. Going into November 5th at Philadelphia. Worst case, best case, I say you lose to the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly. I like what the Eagles are doing. I don't think the Eagles are a playoff team, but I think this is part of the reason why I'm kind of iffy on the Denver Broncos because the Eagles have a quarterback. Who knows what Simeon or Lynch is going to be. If they are so, I don't see them beating the Eagles and the Chiefs and the Giants and even the Raiders and the Cowboys. Going on November 12th, New England Patriots at home. Worst case, best case, I just don't see you losing or see you winning against the New England Patriots. That's going to be a tough game, but if anybody can beat the Patriots, I rank the Denver Broncos up there. November 19th, Bengals at home. Best case, worst case, I say you beat the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals, I believe, will be a better team, but the Bengals going on the road to Denver, that is going to be extremely tough. And I just don't think the Bengals will get it done, so Denver will win that game. November 26th at Oakland, one of the final times Denver will travel out to Oakland to play the Raiders. Worst case, you lose to the Oakland Raiders. Best case, I can see you upsetting the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders should be favored at home in that game. Going into December, your worst case scenario, you are 4-7. Best case scenario, you are 8-3. December 3rd at Miami to play the Dolphins. Best case, worst case, I have you losing this game, but it just came out today that Ryan Tannehill is hurt. Who knows who they're going to have as quarterback? It could be Tannehill, could be Colin Kaepernick, it could be a no-name quarterback starting. So I can now actually see in best case scenario, I think you can beat the Miami Dolphins. Even worst case scenario, if they have a arena football quarterback starting for the Miami Dolphins. December 10th, home for the New York Jets. Best case, worst case, I say you beat the New York Jets. The New York Jets are basically tanking without saying so. They got rid of all their veteran players. They don't have a quarterback. Surprise, surprise. There's just so much wrong with the New York Jets, and I just don't see how the Jets can win in Denver unless the Broncos completely choke the game away and basically gift wrapped it for the New York Jets. December 14th at Indianapolis. Worst case, you lose the game. Best case, you win the game. Once again, just like with Miami, it depends who's the quarterback of the Colts. Because Andrew Luck, he might be out for possibly the whole season, maybe a few games at the start. Who knows about where Andrew Luck is health wise? Because if he's starting under center for the Colts probably slightly favored. If not, then I give the advantage to the Denver Broncos. December 24th at Washington. Best case, worst case, I actually say you lose this game. I think the Washington Redskins, both teams, probably even the Denver Broncos, will be challenging for a wild card, but I just give the advantage to the Washington Redskins. But it's not out of the realms of possibility that the Denver Broncos beat the Washington Redskins. And then you finish up the season at home December 31st against the Kansas City Chiefs. Worst case scenario, you lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. Best case scenario, you win against the Kansas City Chiefs. So it really, this whole season depends on quarterback. Not really who is the quarterback, but if Lynch or Simeon can actually take on and beat, say, the Raiders, the Chiefs, and even the Chargers in the AFC West. The AFC West is a very tough division, and there's not a lot of margin for error. Best case scenario for the Denver Broncos, I see them going 11-5. Worst case scenario, I see the opposite. I see them going 5-11. My final prediction for the Denver Broncos for the 2017 season is 9-7. I think the Jets, the Colts, the Chargers, the Bills offer good chances at W's. Same could break the Denver Broncos' way against the NFC East when you look at the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Redskins, and the Giants, and the Bengals and Dolphins. Once again, who knows if the Dolphins or the Colts are going to have Tannehill or Luck starting any this season. There's a big question mark there. So you look down, nothing really looking at the schedule is too hard. There's not a really hard month. You got 3 road games in December against Miami, Indianapolis, and Washington Redskins, but it's definitely a doable schedule. The Chargers are doable, both games. Cowboys, if they're in a sophomore slump, if Elliott is suspended for 2 games, you get to play the Cowboys without Elliott. At Buffalo, the Bills should be definitely a team you beat. The Raider games are going to be hard. You have an opportunity with the New York Giants. The Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to be a little bit easier to beat at Denver over playing in Kansas City. Eagles are a possibility. The Patriots, that's going to be the hardest game of the regular season, in my opinion, but they have a slight chance, but I give that you can't count against Brady. I've learned that as a Jets fan. You just can't count against Brady. The Cincinnati Bengals offer a good chance at a win, and then the Dolphins, the Jets. The Jets should be a easy win. Who knows about the Colts and the Dolphins? That's going to be a big question mark when you look at December. Kirk Cousins, Redskins is another winnable game. So I say 9-7 for the Denver Broncos, which might be good enough for a wild card. I don't think the Denver Broncos are going to win the AFC West. Once again, I just think the Kansas City Chiefs and the Oakland Raiders are just too talented to be bested by the Denver Broncos, who, let's be honest, don't have a franchise quarterback. Alex Smith might not be a franchise quarterback, but he's a better quarterback than Lynch and Simeon, and Derek Carr is the franchise quarterback of the Raiders. My name is Corey Foister. Once again, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Corey Foister. Follow the show on social media. That is Twitter at WinStreak News, Facebook.com/TheWinStreak, TheWinStreak.com. Leave a review and subscribe on the podcast platform you're listening on. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Soaring Jets Production. Please leave a comment, like I mentioned before. Contact us at thewinstreak.com/contact and or soaringjetproductions@gmail.com. Feedback, criticism, comments, questions. We'll read it when we do our weekly show. We always read listener mail. We would love to hear and answer your questions. Join our fantasy football league. Find out more information about that on our Facebook and on thewinstreak.com. Top 10 list. We do top 10 list every once in a while. Top 10 Super Bowl matchups we want to see is now live. Go check that out as well on iTunes, Stitcher, and on YouTube. Once again, my name is Corey Foister. This was the Win Streaks preview of the Denver Broncos. Until next time, keep winning, everybody.